Okay, today we're gonna go ahead and install EVEng on Proxmox server. And pretty much this installation, you can do it on Proxmox, VMware, any other virtualization tool you use. So we're gonna go ahead and first download the ISO on the EVEng official website, and we're gonna get the community version. And for Proxmox, you can do it in two ways. You can download it yourself, or you can copy the download link and have Proxmox download it itself using the URL, which I'm showing you right now. Looks like I did. Paste it, query it, and you'll see there that it gave the file name and it knows about it. And then you just click download and it will download it. Because I already have it installed or uploaded on my Proxmox, I'm not going to download it again. Once you have it, we're going to go ahead and click create a new VM. We're going to name it. To operating system, we're going to click the EVEng ISO image. And we're going to leave the rest blank, or not blank, the default. In the system tab, we're going to go ahead and I like to turn on kvm-agent. Here at the disk, we're just going to give it a size. I'm going to give it about, I think I'm going to give it 60 gigs here. And if I need to expand, I can expand that later. And because I'm using an SSD, I'm going to turn on disk cards. If you're using a hard drive, you can leave that off. Here, you want to give it how many cores you want to give it. So I have 16 cores. I'm going to give it the full 16. And the type, we're going to make sure to put on host. Next, we're going to give it the memory value. And here I'm going to, it's a multiples of 1024. So 1 gig is 1024, 2 gigs is 2 times that, and so on. And just so you know, you can always change, increase or decrease later on as well. The network, I'm just going to leave it default, not going to touch anything. And this is just a confirmation. We're going to go ahead and click finish. I'm not going to start it right away. We do have to do one more thing on the Proxmox device itself. And I'll show you that here in a second. So you want to go into the shell and we want to turn on nested virtualization. And depending on what kind of CPU you have, it's different commands. And I can put the commands in the description below. I have an AMD, so I'm doing the command for AMD. And here, I'm just showing you that it's on or off, and 1 means it's on. If you have a 1, you can move on to the next step. If you have a 0, we will need to turn it on. Here's the command for the Intel version CPU. And because obviously I don't have Intel, it's not going to give me an output. But if you have an Intel, you're going to get a Y or N. Y means it's on, N means it's off. If you have nested virtualization off, here is the command you would need to turn it on, and this is for AMD CPUs. The one for Intel, I will put the commands in the description. I'm actually not going to go ahead and do this command because my nested virtualization is already on. So I'll just go ahead and move to the next step. If yours is not on, again, enter the command and we'll move to the next step. Okay, now that we turned nested virtualization on, we're going to go ahead and turn on our virtual machine. And it's going to install EVEng. And we're going to wait for it to finish doing that. This is going to take some time, and it is going to, like a login prompt will come, but don't press anything. It's still doing its thing. And it will reboot and then come back on. And then the second time you see the login prompt, that's when you want to log in to move on to the next steps. So I'm going to just cut to the point where it's installed. at the next step. Okay, once the login prompt comes up for the second time, what you want to do is you want to log in. And once you log in, it will ask you to change the root password. So change it to whatever you want. Change the whole, like I leave everything default after that. But you can change all these to whatever you want. However, I leave it default again. Once that's done, it's going to go finish its setup again. So once it reboots, it will come back up. You get an IP address where you can see here, and we can use that IP address to log into the web GUI and get into EVEng. Default username is admin. Default password is Eve. We're going to use the HTML console and log in. And there you have EVEng. If you know what you need to do next, you can, or you can keep watching and I'll help you guys install a image to the EVEng environment. So if you go to the EVEng website, under the documentations, it will tell you how to install any image into EVEng. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to install one of them, and that's going to be the Cisco IOL device. We're gonna install the router one. So open Win SCP. You want to log into the EVEng, the one we just installed. And once you log in, we're gonna go to the following directory. It's in root. So in root, we're gonna go to OPT, Unit Lab, Add-ons, QEMU, and in here we need to make a folder in the name that's on the documentation page of EVEng. Here they want you to make the folder name VIOS advertise prize. Just that, man. Copy that and make the folder. And just so you know, if you have a different file version, you might have to change the numberings around. So make the directory, and then you want to take your image. So I don't have I already have it set up the way it wants it, but your image name will be like this. You want to change it to this name. And then you want to move that over to the folder you just made. Once you do that, we need to go into the CLI of EVEng because we have to fix permissions here. So I'm just trying to memorize the command off the top of my head here. But just copy the same command I'm using. And once you run that, I'm just double checking here, making sure that I had it right. And once you run that command, it fixes the permissions, and then you can go back to your EVEng, reload the page, and you'll see here that you have that new device and you can run it. Thank you guys for watching, and leave any questions you guys have in the comments and I'll help you guys out. See you guys in the next tutorial.